Hold up. Stop the intro. Okay. We need to go over something. I screwed up. I think I got you all stirred up and worried that your cruises are canceled. This 14-day policy of quarantining a ship after it's been in international waters is most likely not affecting you. It is only affecting 3 sailings currently at the moment, and that is for the Celebrity Summit. I'm going to show you this as soon as we roll the intro. All right, let's get this all this confusion clarified here. This is from celebritycruises.com. This is their cancellations page. This will be linked below the video. You can go down and look at it yourself. The cancellations in yesterday's video that were referenced were 3 for Celebrity Summit on September 2nd, September 6th, and September 11th. These are the 3 sailings that are currently canceled. If you're on another ship, your sailings have not yet been canceled. We just are kind of looking at some of the new things that are going on in the industry, and we just have to make sure that we expect everything and anything that could be coming at us. So I want to clarify that before we start today's episode. Now, let's talk about today's Midship episode. We have so much news to cover. We have Hurricane Fred. Well, not a hurricane yet. Tropical Storm Fred bearing down on Florida. How is that going to affect the cruise ports? We have a new Carnival paint scheme that has been come out of dry dock. So we're going to show you some pictures of one of the new Carnival ships to receive a paint scheme. We have Mariner on the Seas currently at Perfect Day at Coco Cay on a test cruise. We're going to look at a little bit from Royal Caribbean blog about how that's going. We also have Dry Dock Frenzy. There are up to 18 ships scheduled to go to dry docks this year that we know of, and it's getting to be pretty competitive. It's like an arms race to dry dock your ship. So we're going to go over that and maybe some of the upgrades that have coming down the line. And we'll finish up by looking at the anticipated capacities for some of the major cruise lines to have their ships back online by the end of the year. So without further ado, let's start talking about this Dry Dock Frenzy. This is from cruiseindustrynews.com. This article, like all that we referenced today, will be linked below. While you're down there, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the Midships channel. We're growing, and we've seen some amazing growth over the last few weeks, and it's thanks to you guys hitting the like, hitting subscribe. We couldn't do it without you. We really appreciate it. It's totally free. We'd appreciate if you'd hit subscribe. So back into this article. The resumption of global cruise operations is keeping dry docks busy around the world. With more cruise ships restarting service, cruise companies are rushing to get necessary work done before welcoming the passengers back on board. In Europe, some dry docks have seen a dramatic increase in the number of cruise ship projects, almost seemingly overnight. And this is probably because the cruise lines now know that they can resume cruising. They've got revenue coming in. Now we know where the money's going to be and that it's probably going to be in the accounts. So we can actually resume doing some of these updates and repairs. So popular among several cruise lines, the Navantia shipyard in Cadiz, Spain, has been one of the busiest facilities, working on vessels from brands like Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Azamara, and more. The yard currently has 5 ships, with 2 more on the way. According to local press, the yard plans to work on 18 cruise ship projects throughout the end of the year 2021. So wow, that is really, really good news. We've got some beautiful, beautiful ships coming out of these yards, and I actually want to show you one here. This is going to be the 4th Carnival ship to receive the newest paint job on their new livery, this red, white, and blue that looks like the Mardi Gras. So we've got a Carnival Valor ship. So this is from Cruise Hive. This is from Emery Stacker, dated August 11th. And again, you can see this whole article and look at all the photos by clicking the link below. Carnival Valor becomes the 4th ship to receive new livery during her dry dock. Carnival Cruise Line is not just focused on resuming cruise operations, but also on updating ships, including the new red, white, and blue livery. The latest ship in the fleet to receive the new look is Carnival Valor. She's now heading back to North America. And we have some photos here. She completed her dry dock, which took place between July 7th and July 28th, and is now the 4th ship in the fleet to receive the new livery design. in addition to Carnival Magic, Carnival Glory, and Carnival Dream. And so we'll just look at a couple of these photos here. Wow, so look at this new paint scheme. This, I think, is actually quite beautiful. And I was really getting tired of the old just all white design on these Carnival ships. So this new paint job, this new paint scheme is absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to stop scrolling here. There are more photos on this page on Cruise Hive. If you would like to see them, go ahead and check that out. Now we're going to talk about Tropical Storm Fred and where it could impact and how it could impact the cruise industry. So we are going to read a quick article again from Cruise Hive's Emery Thacker. Florida homeports prepare as Tropical Storm Fred becomes a concern for cruises. Cruise homeports in Florida have started making preparations for Tropical Storm Fred, which is currently moving across the Eastern Caribbean and is a concern for cruises over the weekend. The storm is tracked to hit southern parts of Florida as it reaches into the southeast Gulf of Mexico. So we've got this storm, and give me a second. I will actually show you the projected track for Fred as it currently stands. Obviously, these models are subject to change, but they're pretty good at predicting this now. So currently, we're Thursday afternoon here. So Tropical Storm Fred is just north of Jamaica, making its way over Cuba. Now you can see this model gets nice and wide as it heads into the Gulf towards Florida. So down this way, we've got Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Key West, Port Tampa. We also have Port Canaveral that could potentially be impacted. So we need to just be aware of this. And so look at the arrival time here. It's scheduled to get into the Gulf or South Florida sometime around Saturday morning to afternoon. So what that means is these weekends, these Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, these are big turnaround days, right, for the cruise ports. And we have ships coming in to let their Monday through Friday sailing off to get their weekend short sailings boarded on. So we could see some disruptions. Currently, we're doing okay. But if this storm were to intensify and make a shift towards, say, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, we could see some disruptions this weekend. So just prepare for that. Keep that in mind. So we'll just read a little bit more on these conditions here for the ports in Florida. On Wednesday, ports in Florida issued a storm watch alert, and the U.S. Coast Guard has posted that they are under port condition whiskey. This means preparations are underway for expected high winds and flooding from Tropical Storm Fred within the next 72 hours. The ports, however, will remain open at this time, including for cruise operations, but it's recommended that vessels over 500 gross tons should begin to make plans to leave the port before the arrival of Tropical Storm or Hurricane Fred. And we have all of the conditions here that the Coast Guard could issue for ports. So Yankee right here, which is the third condition, this is where ships cannot come or go from the ports anymore. So basically, once we get to this second level, this X-ray, if a port hits X-ray, you can expect all the cruise ships to dip out. They're gone because they don't want to get stuck basically in the path of these hurricanes. So the ports will become closed if we get to Yankee, but so far the ports are open. They are just sort of on vigilance. They're just looking out. So hopefully everything goes fine. We really want Fred to just fizzle out in the Gulf and just become a little rain event. That would be best. I know there's some places that could really use some rain right now. So bring it on. Now, let's talk about Royal Caribbean. Why not? One of our favorite brands to cruise with. So we have Royal Caribbean Blog's founder, Matt Hochberg, has somehow made it on his second test cruise as a volunteer of the sea, when we here at Midships haven't even made it on our first test cruise. So we're going to give you a quick update again. We told you yesterday that Mariner left from Port Canaveral on her 2-day test cruise. And so we're going to get a little update on the first day here from Matt. So Mariner of the Seas is Royal Caribbean's next cruise ship to begin a test sailing, and Matt was lucky enough to get a spot on board. They invited the general public to be part of the test sailing, following through on the offer they made months ago, last November, on the Volunteers of the Seas Facebook page. Guests sailing on this test cruise do not pay anything for the cruise fare, but they do have to pay for their own drinks, gratuities, shopping in the store, gambling in the casino, basically anything that costs extra on a normal cruise, over and above the base cruise fare, these guests still have to pay for. So Mariner is now sailing a 2-night cruise from Port Canaveral, which means it's very short. One change on this sailing is everybody has to get a negative COVID test result to board, which means you have 3 days prior to your sailing to take the test. So the author here is recommending going to CVS. That's what I would also recommend. CVS or Walgreens are a great resource for this. Again, free rapid testing is available there for anybody who has COVID symptoms, and that is according to the pharmacist that I spoke with there. So if you sneezed or coughed this week and you want a rapid test, that would be how you could get it. Just make sure you have COVID symptoms. Otherwise, it's $125. Check-in time was at noon, and there was a line for folks based on what time their check-in was, and they're absolutely enforcing the check-in times on Royal Caribbean. The process was otherwise easy. Royal Caribbean changed the wristbands for this sailing. Instead of a silicone purple band, now they have the fully vaccinated guests with a blue nylon band, okay? So again, that's how we're telling the vaccinated from the unvaccinated. The vaccinated guests on Royal Caribbean will receive a wristband to wear for their sailing. You must wear it at all times out of your room. Otherwise, you will be considered non-vaccinated and you will not have access to certain amenities on the ship. So definitely wear it if you've had the jab. Let's see. One tried and true recommendation is to do as much as you can before the cruise in terms of completing your online check-in. The more you do at home, the less you wait around and waste your time at the terminal. That is great news. We always tell you to go on your smartphone and download the app for your cruise line and log into your account before you get to the ship, because you will have no service when you need it otherwise. 9 times out of 10, you forget to download something before you go in a big crowded environment. You just don't have the cell coverage to get what you need. So download these apps, check into your cruise online, give them all the information on your vaccination status if you want to give them that, and just make sure everything is there. Have your documents printed, though. Always carry a backup of your documents for sure. So we are going to actually now talk about some of the cruise capacity numbers that we're expecting for the rest of the year 2021. This is cruiseindustrynews.com. Cruise capacity restart projections for the major companies by the end of 2021. Okay, and we have a beautiful, beautiful Norwegian ship photo here. Okay, according to the August 2021 edition of the Cruise Ships in Service Report by cruiseindustrynews.com, the major cruise corporations will account for nearly 80% of berths back in the market through the end of the month. Now, a berth can be two things. It can be a full ship docked, or it can be how many beds are on board a ship. So in this case, we're talking about the beds. So the 4 big cruise companies, Carnival, Royal, Norwegian, and MSC, will account for 220,000 of the 275,000 berths back in service. Those are beds. By December, these 4 companies will have a large part of their fleets back in service. So let's talk about who's going to have the most ships. It's going to be Carnival. Carnival has the most ships available at 95, and they'll have 74% of their fleet back online by the end of the year. That'll be a total of 63 ships. Royal Caribbean aims to have 87% of their fleet back online for a total of 54 ships by the end of the year. Norwegian will have approximately 19 ships in service, and MSC Cruises will be basically at full capacity. The only ship that they're not going to have is the MSC Lyrica. There was a fire on board earlier this year, so that's sort of TBD on when that one will come back. All right, perfect. So now we have been updated on all of the cruise news, and hopefully we have sort of eased some of the tension and the fear that yesterday's video may have caused you in regards to cruise cancellations. So it's only those 3 celebrity cruises in September, okay? So far, everybody else is good to go. If you never want to miss another Midships episode, and we have a lot already filmed and ready to come out, click subscribe and get into the Midships family. We'll see you next time.